Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we're going over all the games from Week 14 of the NFL season, aka the last week of the fantasy football regular season. So if you didn't make the playoffs, we're going to go through a lot of real-life playoff implications this week, a lot of fantasy playoff implications. So we're going to go through just all the start-sit players that are agonizing in all the cool games. And that's basically it.
Yeah, well, I think we should just go through my Ringer League matchup.
We're just going to go through Craig's team.
I'd love to do that for an hour. Scour the waiver wire, see what I should do.
Craig, aren't you mathematically eliminated?
No. We just talked about this last episode. Right. I have to outscore a couple teams by 30 or 40, which is unlikely, but certainly not mathematically.
He's got to sock some dingers.
Yeah, I need to. What I really need to do is sabotage other people's teams.
Oh, okay.
You should just get access to their phones and just bench their players.
Yeah. Maybe Spotify can help with that.
Yeah. Okay. But first, we're going to take a quick break. This episode is presented by Chime. Bank smarter this season. Fantasy football is all about strategy. Well, here's a winning strategy for your money. Trade banking fees for fee-free banking, 1.5% cash back, getting paid when you say, and a higher APY on your savings. That's a lineup that wins. Stop banking the old way. Bank smarter through Chime. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and the secured Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secured Chime Visa credit card purchases. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn more at chime.com. All right, get into the games for Week 14. Starting as always with the game of the year. And the game of the year is brought to you by Chime.
Yeah. Bears-Packers. Legendary matchup. Did you guys see that there was Al Michaels? Bill and Sal were talking about this. Al Michaels and Bob Costas were on Ari Emanuel's podcast, which he has a podcast now, if you didn't know that, the head of Endeavor, where they just do Mount Rushmore. And they said that Packers-Bears is on the Mount Rushmore of sports rivalries. Do you agree with that?
Well, it doesn't feel like a rivalry lately.
I agree.
Depends how old you are.
When was the last?
You grew up in the 70s.
Bill
and 80s,
and Sal were
maybe?
like, when was the last good Bears-Packers game?
Well,
and I'm like, I don't really have a memory of one.
Well, it's funny you asked because I was looking into this, and if you take out games where the Packers, benched their starters in Week 18 because they had already clinched the playoffs, the last 17 games versus the Packers, so a full season. The last 17 games versus the Packers, the Bears are 1-16.
See, that's not a rivalry. It's just not.
It's sad, is what it is. And that's why this is the game of the year, because the Bears, they've come in last place in the NFC North 3 years in a row.
Yep.
And now they're first place in the division. They're number one seed in the NFC, but now they have 2 games versus the Packers in a 3-week span. And if either team wins both those games, that team basically will win the division. So the Bears, it's winning this game versus Green Bay. 1-16 in their last 17 competitive games versus the Packers. 15 years of Rodgers being like, I own the Bears. And then Jordan Love is 3-0 in games he's actually started and finished. I don't know. This game will weigh in the heads of Bears fans way more. Whether they win or lose, it will weigh much heavier than all the other games they've won or lost this year.
Yeah, especially because the Bears have had an easier schedule, I would say. And so this game is like kind of outside of the Eagles last week, who they destroyed them and ran for over 200 yards against the Eagles, this is their biggest test of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is sort of like a good litmus test to how real last week was and how real they are, just generally speaking, how real the Bears are. If they can win in this game, I think I'm going to start to be a believer in the Bears. I'm not currently like a strong believer in them. I think they've done pretty well, and they've outperformed my expectations by far. Caleb, I think, is on the right track. He's getting better week in and week out. I think Ben Johnson, clearly the right coach and a very good coach, but I still think it feels like smoke and mirrors a little bit.
It kind of feels like we're going to learn a lot about Caleb Williams.
This is a huge game.
Going to learn a lot.
In Lambeau.
Yeah, this is a huge game.
I think the Bears have taken not a little bit what the Colts were, where I think when I look at the Bears, I think everyone probably feels this way. My heart is happy for Chicago. The football's better when the Bears are good. But my head is like, this is probably fake. They literally have 6 more points than their opponents this season, and they have 6 more wins than losses. That doesn't make any sense. And I don't know. The Bears' entire season is just, they've been incredible running the ball, and they have way more turnovers. Like on defense, they forced more turnovers than ever the team by a ton. Like they have 7. Their turnover margin this year is 17. No other team's better than 9. So that won't continue. But they're running the ball. They've unquestionably been good. I mean, since their bye in week 5, the Bears, honestly, the Colts with Jonathan Taylor, the best rushing team since then, and the Bears are right there. The Bears are the most rushing yards since week 5, most rushing first down since week 5. The Bears are second in rushing yards per carry, second in rushing EPA. Like the rushing is there. But Ben Johnson himself said this week that the passing game, they're winning despite the passing game, not because of it. And he wasn't just Caleb. He was talking about like the receivers not hitting landmarks, not running routes, all this stuff. But he was kind of saying everything's a little funky. And then he walked it back as he was kind of like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. But I don't know. I mean, frankly would like the Bears to be good. I think that's a fun story, but I think the Packers might embarrass is a strong word, but I think the Packers will put them in their place a little bit.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sold on the Packers. I'm not sold on the Packers. They have basically only beaten one team this year, and it's Detroit twice. And outside of that, I don't think any of their wins are particularly impressive. They lost to the Panthers this year. They put up 7 points against the Eagles, and it's like, cool. They beat JJ McCarthy. They've beaten the Giants. They beat a shitty Steelers team. To me, I don't feel that confident. I think Love is playing the best he's played right now, but they played the Lions, and he looked good. And I don't feel particularly strongly about any player on the Packers offense. I think the talent on Chicago's offense is better than the talent on Green Bay's offense, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I would go the other way with that.
You would rather have the receivers, running backs, and tight ends right now on Green Bay than Chicago?
Well, how healthy is everybody?
There's no Tucker Kraft on Green Bay.
See, but I'm talking about, like, does Matthew Golden count? Does Jaden Reed count?
Yeah,
both
sure.
of them are getting close to coming back. I think if you add Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, like that's a pretty deep receiving core. You know, Musgrave isn't very good or has not been good to this point in his career. But
I just think I think
Josh Jacobs is head and shoulders above the running backs for Chicago.
That's fair, but I think what Ben Johnson is doing with the running game with DeAndre Swift and Monangai is better than what the Packers are doing right now. And I think Rome Odunze is better than every Packers wide receiver. I think DJ Moore is probably better than every Packers wide receiver.
DJ Moore?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's talent, but again, they're not playing. Like, there's talent, and then there's actual how they're playing right now. And Ben Johnson's literally at the podium after a win saying that even despite the wind, not the wind, but the wind with a D, like, he's still like, they're not playing to their potential.
I don't know. I think Ben Johnson is doing what Mike Vrabel is doing, which I think is really smart, which is like Ben Johnson, when he's in the locker room with his guys, he seems like a guy's guy, locker room coach, like hyping up his players. A win is a win. Even if we were losing the whole game and we barely squeaked it out, like a win is a win, and that's what matters. And then when he goes to the media, he walks it back a little bit. He's like, we could still improve. Like, I think even though he's saying stuff like that, it's a calculated decision to get his move to get like the players to continue thinking that there's more to be done and the season's not over. So while he is saying stuff like that, I think that's the right move as a coach. And Vrabel does that too.
I would like multiple things to be true. I believe in Caleb Williams as a quarterback in the NFL long term, and I think he could be better than above average. I think Ben Johnson's the right coach of the Bears and could be there for 10 years. And I also think the Bears are going to lose to the Packers this week. And I think all those things could be true because the Bears lost 10 games in a row last year. And I don't think they're the 1 seed. And I don't think they're in the caliber of other teams. They're not as good as they have the same record as the Seahawks. They've outscored their opponents by 6 points. The Seahawks have outscored their opponents by 130. Like, they're not as good as Seattle. They're not as good as the Rams. And I don't think they're as good as the Packers. And what it comes down,
surprised you think they're going to get embarrassed.
Embarrassed? Well, I said it's a strong word, and maybe I shouldn't have said the word at all. With that said, I think there's a couple start sits in this game that are difficult. Christian Watson, I think, is a player you want to be playing because he's been playing well, but sometimes when it's really cold, you're kind of like, why did I start the big play receiver? But Watson, I think, has been too good to not play.
These guys are all used to this shit by now. Yeah.
The question I have for you guys is Rome Odunze for the Bears, who has been really bad, and I think a lot of people don't want to play it. But when I watch Bears games, and again, I don't know, again, Ben Johnson, maybe Odunze is the guy he's talking about, but I don't know. I feel like Odunze's open a lot, and Caleb just misses him for whatever reason. But we have Odunze this week ranked 30th among receivers. So behind Michael Wilson and the Cardinals, behind Alec Pierce and the Colts, behind Deebo Samuel in Washington, behind Jacoby Myers on the Jags, behind DK Metcalf on the Steelers, behind Marvin Harrison of the Cardinals, where he didn't practice today. But we have Rome Odunze ahead of like Khalil Shakir on the Bills, ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. on the Jags, ahead of Troy Franklin on the Broncos, ahead of Quentin Johnson. I think that's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels kind of right. Like, maybe he should be ahead of DK Metcalf at this point. The way that
we'll
Metcalf
have to
has
talk
been playing,
about him
but yeah, Rome is kind of entering that zone where it feels like a miracle when he gets a catch. I don't like it. I think he's a good player, and I think he's ultimately going to have a good careire. But right now, it doesn't seem like things are clicking for him. So it's frustrating.
It's funny. Both of these teams have some of the most difficult wide receivers to figure out in fantasy.
Yeah.
Like the target share is kind of like flattening for both of these teams, where it's like Rome and DJ Moore and Luther Burden is kind of ascending, and Colston Loveland's more in the mix. Same with Green Bay. It's like this like three-headed thing of Wicks and Dubs and Watson. The only thing with Rome I will say is I don't know if Rome is particularly healthy. He hasn't practiced all week with a foot injury. He's had this for a while, and since he has come back from that small injury, he's not playing as much. He's basically playing like 70% of snaps. Beginning of the year was closer to like 85. And so I wonder if that's a factor, or if I don't know if it's like a regression thing and he's not playing as much, but I'm not sure he's 100% healthy either.
So on one hand, part of me is thinking about suggesting people play Rome Odunze instead of just blindly benching him because he's burned you, in part because if you just looked at the last 6 weeks or so, the expected fantasy, basically how much targets, depth, everything you're getting, the air yards, the amount of just distance the ball has traveled on Rome Odunze's targets is like top 5 in the entire league in expected yards and how many yards you would think Rome Odunze's had. And he hasn't been, and also touchdowns. I mean, last week versus the Eagles, Rome Odunze was so wide open in the end zone for so long. And then Caleb finally saw him and just bounced the ball to him because there was a lot of wind and stuff. And I'm just like, there's a lot of plays like that have been left on the field where when I watch Rome Odunze and then I look at his game log, I'm like, this is not lining up.
Yeah.
But I'm hesitant to recommend playing him because 14 degrees in Green Bay, and who knows what the wind's going to be until realistically turn on your TV on Sunday morning. And the same way there was wind in Philadelphia. I don't know what the situation is. And the other thing that keeps bothering me is I keep getting this guy's name wrong. How do you say Ozzy Trapilo? The left tackle for the Bears. Second round tackle out of Boston College is going to be going against Micah Parsons. And I kind of just keep thinking about that. Of in 14 degrees or 18 degrees, whatever, Micah Parsons is going to be going against Ozzy Trapilo, the second round rookie at 11. And I'm like, I just think I don't know. So I think both Odunze will be better rest of the season than you think, but I also don't want to bank on him this week.
Yeah, I think you're playing Rome, Watson. That might be it.
And well, the running back Swift and Mononga, I think you play both them, Jacobs.
I'm only talking about wide receivers.
I'm seeing Trapilo.
Trapilo? Like a pillow.
Trapilo.
Because Parsons going to put him to sleep. So
Ozzy Trapilo.
There you go. Game of the year presented by Chime. If we get to the other big games this week, Craig.
Yeah. We have the Bad Vibes Bowl is what I'm calling it.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Instead of Icy Hot Bowl, it's the Bad Vibes Bowl.
Yeah. It's like, which team are we going to allow into the playoffs to get their doors blown off at bowl?
Steelers at Baltimore, baby.
Steelers at Baltimore. The ESPN's like playoff percentage thing says that the winner of this game has a 75% chance of making the playoffs, and the loser has a 25% chance. Wow. So this game is massive for these two teams. I don't know, man. Like we could get into a lot. Like Lamar was a limited participant in practice on Wednesday. He did not practice on Thursday. Greg Roman says he looks like he's going to play. I mean, sorry, not Greg Roman. Todd Monken says he thinks he's going to play. This is one of the more interesting what do I do in fantasy games, because I would say every single player on the Steelers, not one of them is for sure you should start them. The Ravens, outside of Derrick Henry, also I wouldn't say for sure you should start any of these players. I mean, Lamar is very tricky. Right now, Lamar, we have in our rankings, here are the guys we have above Lamar. Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, and Goff. It's 8 guys. I would argue if you're in a single QB league, and let's say over the course of the season, there are some guys who weren't drafted super highly that you might have on your team, like Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Jordan Love. I don't know, man. I think those guys, I think Darnold, Daniel Jones, Jordan Love, I don't know, maybe if Trevor Lawrence. I think like there is a handful of guys that I would be okay with you starting over Lamar because I think the upside, like the ceiling that Lamar usually offers is kind of gone. And so I'm like, if the goal is just to get to 17 fantasy points, I kind of think like Sam Darnold can get you that much easier against the Falcons than Lamar will against the Steelers.
I think the key insight there too is that the difference is if I told you only one of Trevor Lawrence or Lamar Jackson would run for 30 yards and score a touchdown on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence at this point might be more likely. I mean, Bill Barnwell had a great stat at ESPN that since Lamar's come back, before he was hurt, the last 2 years, basically, Lamar was averaging 26 yards a game just on designed runs. And since he came back from injury, it's dropped from 26 to just 6 yards a game on designed runs. So at that point, you're like, all right, so if you just close your eyes and I read you, I mean, it's box score, but whatever. Lamar last 3 weeks ran for 27 yards, 11-10. And then you see him in the injury report. It's Thursday, and I can't keep track. What is the injury keeping Lamar out today? I can't even keep track anymore.
It's ankle.
Ankle. So we've had knee, ankle, hamstring,
toe. Yeah.
Every week it's a new thing. And so now I keep waiting for Lamar to get healthier. Connected. And he's practicing less, not more. So but he's going to play. I think his season's on the line. Like
he's going to play.
Lamar will like fight John Harbaugh and before he doesn't play this game.
This is the ultimate who are you fantasy personality test. You know what I mean? Like, are you someone that looks at shorter timelines and like recency and what he's been doing lately, or are you just like, his name's Lamar Jackson, I'm fucking putting him in my starting lineup, I don't care that he scored 7 points 3 straight weeks? I think like I'm generally more the latter. I'm like, it's Lamar Jackson, he'll figure it out, he's not gonna have another 7-point game, right? But then also in the back of my mind, I'm very much like Craig, where I'm just like,
here's the difference.
The ceiling argument is actually kind of gone. That's a really good argument. That's the most like convincing thing that you've said about it in terms of just like he doesn't have the ceiling that he usually has, so you might as well start a healthy guy.
Like, don't you think Jacoby Brissett could probably get you 18 points as easily as Lamar this week?
You know what's funny? Yeah. There's multiple backup quarterbacks.
Been like a top 5 quarterback.
Marcus Mariota, if he plays for Washington this week, I feel like he's probably more likely to get you more points. You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's Minnesota, but yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, like the Broncos were been good at limiting rushing quarterbacks all year, and Mariota did fine for us then. I'm just saying the emotional truth about this decision, if you have to play Lamar, is that if you bench Lamar and you're wrong, it's your fault. But if you play Lamar and he sucks, then you get to be mad at Lamar instead of yourself, right, which is probably how we should discuss these things, if we're being honest. But I will also, we have to get to the other part of this, which is the actual real life implications here of Steelers-Ravens. Craig, you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I think in the entire tenure of Mike Tomlin, which we're coming up on 20 seasons, I think the hot seat right now is the hottest it's ever been in terms of whether Mike Tomlin actually gets fired at the end of the year. I think this is the first time I have ever believed he might. And before we get into any of this, Ravens, Steelers, anything, I just want to know right now, how do you feel about it? Mike Tomlin, if his tenure.
His tenure?
Not 20 years. Do you think Mike Tomlin should keep his job for next season? Just like, yes, no, how do you feel about it?
No, we talked about it last week. No, I haven't changed my opinion. I think it's time to move on. It's been a long time. He's done a great job. Sometimes things end and it's okay. And to be honest, him being on the hot seat for this game, it almost calms me or makes me feel dead inside. I'm not sure. But where like, if they do lose and that potentially leads to a change at the head coaching position and at all the court, and it kind of starts a rebirth for the Steelers because they lose this game, I might not be totally upset about that. Like if they lose 30-7 and it's a disaster and it's like Tomlin's out, you know what? Maybe that's for the best.
There's a lot riding on this game.
There are. Life. Steelers fans were booing Renegade, the song they play every year for 20 years. Fans were chanting "Fire Tomlin." Some guy tweeted that Tomlin is going to say, "We can't eat soup with forks," and sign a 2018 Pro Bowler. And then Tomlin
that guy's getting a lot of runs set.
Well, he said almost that exact quote, and then he signed a 2018 Pro Bowler. Feeling DK.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger said this week that Mike Tomlin might need to go, which I know Roethlisberger nothing was more than just fucking criticizing.
Yeah, I guess Craig how he feels about
Ben will say anything to make a headline, and he's been doing that all season.
He's the saddest. But James Harrison also is coming out here saying, like, I never thought Mike Tomlin was. I know, they'll do it.
But yeah, I guess.
James Harrison
Craig,
is like.
Who are the beloved ex-Steelers that you still like?
There are plenty of beloved Steelers still. Polamalu, I love. Heath Miller, I love. Not Antonio Brown. Not Le'Veon Bell.
Antonio Brown's not on your list of beloved Steelers?
Antonio Brown not on the list.
Martavis Bryant?
Martavis Bryant, I actually thought he was kind of fun, but no, not on my list. But there's plenty of them. But Ben,
it's kind of funny. Martavis Bryant and his criminal history of just having a lot of marijuana gets lumped in with Antonio Brown's.
Oh, I wasn't saying.
Off the field concerns, Martavis Bryant likes to smoke pot, and Antonio Brown, But what's crazy, I think, about this game, it's Brooke Pryor had a good story. She covers these Steelers for ESPN, and she had a good story. The Steelers' entire offseason on defense was entirely about the Ravens. Because the Steelers allowed 300 rushing yards to the Ravens in the playoffs, which I know I talk about this on the show all the time. I don't think it gets talked about enough. The Steelers allowed 300 rushing yards in the playoffs. And Mike Tomlin,
insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. Mike Tomlin said he didn't even get through the entire locker room after that game, walking, until he decided what they were going to do at defense, which was just add a ton of big people. And they drafted Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle from Oregon. And then they drafted the hero, Jack Sawyer. And they signed all these linebackers and edge rushers. They signed a bunch, 7 different giant people between the draft and free agency for the front 7 to not have anyone run for that many yards again. The whole thing was to stop the Ravens and just the rushing attack. And the week before this game, last week, the Buffalo Bills just ran for the most yards by an opponent in 50 years in the Steelers Stadium. And the Bills did it without either starting tackle, which I don't know how many teams have ever ran for 240 yards without either starting tackle. Now, with all this Tomlin heat, I think it is very important to grade him on the curve of, if you spent your entire year thinking about how to stop the Ravens and how to not let them bully you around, and then the Ravens now are the weakest. We have seen the Ravens offense in I don't know, probably since Kyle Bowler was the quarterback, or maybe just late limp Joe Flacco before he got benched. This is one of the worst moments in the history of the Ravens right now and how they're playing on offense. And if the Ravens come in and get right versus you when you had 11 months to fix it, I do think Tomlin should go if they lose this game.
You gotta eat soup with a spoon,
Sometimes you just got to put it plainly like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a good way to frame it.
Yeah. Sure. And that guy, that first rounder, the Steelers drafted, Derek Harmon, not going to play in this game. It doesn't look like. With that said, this is when the Steelers win games right now.
I was going to say, with that said, I want the Steelers plus 5.5.
At them. I think I do too. I think this game's going to be close. The Steelers are 3-2 against the Ravens. With Lamar, the last 5 games they've played. These games are always close and ugly, and 5.5 is a lot to lay for Lamar, who's not healthy and playing terribly. So I agree.
Just like the Packers are 16-1 versus the Bears in their last 17. I think the 17 times that Mike Tomlin's been talked about whether he should be fired, I'm pretty sure Mike Tomlin's
he wins.
Real quick, we don't have to spend too much time on this because I know it's been talked about ad nauseum this week. But Craig, what do you make of this Aaron Rodgers sort of throwing his receivers under the bus story that's happened?
I think do I think he's right, or do I agree with him going public with it?
The latter.
Yeah, why not?
You're taking Rodgers' side on this. All right.
I mean, look, the Steelers receivers are not playing well. They're not good. So sometimes you need to go public for stuff to actually, make the message heard. So I'm okay with it. I mean, look, Rodgers is yelling at them enough on the fucking field. So I don't think him doing it at the presser is really any different than what those guys hear probably every single day.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Rodgers is yelling with the weight of his entire career. And also, we said this at the beginning of the season. Mike Tomlin literally never had a losing season under the Pittsburgh Steelers. And there's a chance that Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers' legacies will actually both be tainted. A reminder that it might become part of Aaron Rodgers' legacy.
No,
that Mike Tomlin literally never had a losing season, and then they signed Rodgers, and then he fucking got fired.
If Heifetz says it enough, Craig, it might.
No, I'm not saying it's
that's
look,
insane.
You're right, Craig. He played well at points. But if you don't think you don't think NFL memes is going to be Mike Tomlin before and after Aaron Rodgers, it's Mike Tomlin's going to get fired after one season with Rodgers. You don't think that's going to be a running joke?
No, I think you're Stephen A-ing this. I don't think so.
I'm not saying that's accurate. I think Rodgers played well, but come on.
This is not, I don't think there's anything Rodgers can do this year that will affect his legacy negatively more than what happened last year with the Jets. I'm not
saying that. I'm saying it will be a joke. I think Steelers fans Tomlin, till Rodgers.
I mean, I guess stupid jokes, but I don't think in reality it would mean anything for Rodgers if they go 8-9.
I think it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, it might be funny. I don't
Having
know.
said that, I kind of want the Steelers plus 5.5 because the Steelers have won this exact game in this moment 10 times.
100%. I agree. Fantasy wise, very interesting once again. I mean, other than Derrick Henry, do you who would you, if we had to draft players you want to play in this game outside of Derrick Henry and I guess Lamar Jackson?
The Steelers running backs. I think you can play
Jalen
Warren. I would take Warren.
Yeah. Jalen Warren would be the Henry and then Jalen Warren. Yeah, for sure.
The only problem is the running game with Rodgers under the pistol is worse. And they're a lot better under center running the ball. And Kenneth Gainwell is now becoming like the receiving back, and Jalen Warren is not catching passes as much anymore. So I maybe agree with you. I was going to say Zay Flowers potentially.
Zay Flowers who had negative points last week. That one.
He should have had a touchdown, but yeah.
I know, but there's something fun. You're right, but there's something emotional about the fact that you might lose because you played a guy with negative points.
I mean, he had like a 40-yard touchdown that I would 9 times out of 10 probably would not be called
don't commit
as
OPI.
a PI.
No, but Flowers, the problem with Flowers and the Steelers, the cornerbacks are tough, but has he had 12 points since week 1? I actually don't know, but I don't.
Well, he hasn't had a touchdown since week 1. However, he's basically a lock for like 50 to 70 yards a game. He's 9 of 12 games this year. He's had between 40 and 70 yards.
That doesn't win you anything though.
No, I know, but I'm like thinking about your options here.
And the real question is, what do you do about DK Metcalf? We have Metcalf ranked 28th among receivers.
Yeah. I don't think you need to play it. I mean,
I don't want to go down that way.
No, I don't think you need to play him. He's the wide receiver 59 over the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, you can't play. You just can't play that. That's insane. The next game here is the Cincinnati Bengals are at the Buffalo Bills, this is Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen, which is cool. But then Bills Bengals is like a little less cool.
It's kind of a fun rivalry game. This is more of a rivalry than the Bears Packers at this point. I mean, like, actually, this is a better rivalry game. However, the Bengals are 4-8, so that affects the actual gravity that this game provides, I guess. But I'm kind of excited to watch it, obviously, because Burrow, I thought he looked pretty healthy in his first game back. He wasn't perfect, but I was expecting a little bit of a ramp up period, and he came out and played pretty well through 2 touchdowns. It's looking like T. Higgins may be back. He's been practicing. So that would obviously be nice to get T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on the field together.
We never talked about the nature. T. Higgins caught a pass and was concussed while catching a pass.
Yeah. I feel like we've seen that a couple times this year now.
Noah Gray did that for the Chiefs too. He caught a pass and got knocked out and caught the ball in his limp arms and the network cut away from it. No one ever talked about it, but he caught a pass while unconscious, which was freaky.
Maybe players are going to start training how to do that.
Yeah.
Probably
be beneficial for the teams.
All right, T. Higgins is back.
All right. Anyway, the good news is for Burrow and the Bengals is the Bills. The bad news for Burrow is the Bills are very good against the pass. The good news is they're not very good against the run. They're in fact quite terrible against the run. And so this could be a good day for Chase Brown. The Bills are giving up the 3rd most points to running backs this year, fantasy points. So unfortunately, might not be fireworks. I'm thinking this game is very interesting because both teams are just going to run the fuck out of the ball, I think. Because the Bengals are very bad at defending the run. The Bills, that's been sort of like their strength this year, is just pounding the football with James Cook. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I look at this game. It's going to be billed as, Burrow versus Allen, but it's just going to be a bunch of running.
It's funny because last week, Joe Burrow threw the ball 46 times. I think he threw the ball 37 times in the first half or something around that number.
Which was great. I think it was the most anyone's thrown in a half all year. In a long time.
And granted, maybe the Ravens they were winning the game, and in the second half they didn't need to throw as much. But part of me thinks like the Bengals are incapable of not throwing the ball 45 times a game.
I agree.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
The Bills were built to beat the Bengals.
Bills beat Bengals.
Bills beat Bengals. No, but the
Bills
Buffalo
beat Bengals.
Bills beat Bengals. Bills built to beat Bengals. It's true though, because the Bengals wiped the Bills off the floor in that snow game where the Bills couldn't get anything done. They couldn't run the ball. It was embarrassing in the playoffs. And then ever since then, the Bills went into, we're going to have like a great between tackles running game. We're going to bully teams off the field. And the Bills built their team to beat the Chiefs and the Bengals because the Chiefs and Bengals want to throw on offense, but they can't really stop the run. So the Bills built their team to run the ball, but then also their defense is built to stop passing games like Cincinnati and Kansas City. So now Buffalo's issue is teams who can run the ball really well. But against I think the Bills are very situated to win this because I don't think Cincinnati can move it on them like they want. But I think the Bills could have the ball for 40 minutes in this game, maybe.
The Bengals are basically the only team that are worse against the run are the Giants.
They ran the ball for 250 yards last week, and they didn't have their starting tackles.
Yeah. So the only other fantasy point here I'd say is keep an eye on Dalton Kincaid. He's back at practice limited. He added a knee injury despite missing a game. I don't know what's going on with that. Sometimes you just hamstring hurts and therefore your knee
Sometimes
hurts.
you got to diversify, you know?
Yeah.
Add something to your repertoire.
Smart.
But basically it's like, I saw this stat. I'm sorry. I apologize for who tweeted it, but it was basically like, Trey McBride is the number one tight end in fantasy, and the number 2 tight end fantasy is whoever's going against the Bengals. So, just keep an eye on Dalton Kincaid. He'd be a good streamer / start option if you need a tight end this week because the Bengals are just horrific against tight ends.
The next game here, another huge divisional game this week. The Colts are at the Jaguars, but they both have 8 wins, and this is, the AFC South is never going to be as cool as the other divisions, but this is the whole division is a bunch of teams. We don't really understand how good they are, but the Colts and Jaguars are maybe the number 1 and number 2 teams in the NFL for just, I don't really know how good these teams are.
This is the Jags, I think, sit in the same category almost exactly as the Bears. The Jags and the Bears are like identical teams this year. Like the play calling genius guru head coaches, quarterbacks who
talented,
have a ton of talent, but
Can't
maybe
really
have
trust.
underwhelmed or
Number
whatever.
1 picks.
The defenses on both of these teams are absolutely living on takeaways, but that's not something that you can always rely on happening game in and game out. The Jags are 4th in takeaways. They have 20. So I think that stylistically and sort of like identity wise, they're kind of similar. I think the Bears are much better at running than the Jags are. In fact, the Jags last week, good God, ETN had 12 carries for 28 yards against the Titans. Tootin had 8 for 17. It was like they both averaged 2 yards to carry. So, I think obviously that's the one big difference. But yeah, Jaguars and Bears, they kind of have a lot of similarities. I think the question for the Colts here, can Jonathan Taylor break through the Jags defense? The Jags have been really good about holding opposing offenses in the run game. They're giving up the fewest rushing yards per game this year, 82 per game. So they're kind of a pass funnel defense. And that is kind of like my one big question is like, how are the Colts going to fare against this run defense when Daniel Jones is hurt? He's got this broken leg. There was an interesting story this week about how his college roommates have this startup company that does 3D printing, and they made him like a guard thing that is like perfectly fitted to his leg to protect his bone. Did you guys see this story?
I did. And they said they were like, how do you scan it? He's like, they have an app. You can scan it on your phone. And I was thinking about Craig's mom being like, why didn't you build that, Craig?
Yeah, Craig, why didn't you build an app?
Damn it. So you just scan your leg and then it builds a perfect cast for you?
Yes, yeah.
That's
just
genius.
make that.
Okay.
But I think the thing with Daniel Jones is he's clearly limited. He doesn't look like he's as fast or as mobile as he normally is. And that was something that the Colts coaches, I think, admitted to. Like he just doesn't have the lateral mobility that he typically would have. So that's a huge deal. And I think the idea would be here is to try not to put too much on his shoulders and let Jonathan Taylor carry the game. But I think
the shoulders is fine. The leg is the problem, but that's what the scans were for.
Sure.
Do you guys feel more or less impressed by NFL medical staffs that Daniel Jones's like college teammates got him a leg scan app? And
yeah, they really got.
Isn't that weird? He's using something his college buddies invented.
Yeah.
What are the odds that Daniel Jones's college buddies are just actually the best people at this?
Is he going to get like a big new contract and then bring in the Daniel Jones like medical team, kind of like TB12?
What if this is all some giant like investor scam and this is Daniel Jones faking a broken leg to prop up this
SpawnCon?
Yeah, this company and then sell it. And Daniel Jones is an investor. Have we considered that? These guys went.
I am now.
These kids went to Duke. They're smart.
They were fucking roommates.
It's a pretty good idea.
Thick as thieves, these three.
Yeah, he comes up with some like body scanning app, fakes a leg injury that can't get a broken leg that for some reason can't get worse.
He's still playing on it.
Sounds fishy to me.
It's pretty good.
So who do you think is going to win?
I mean, the funny thing about these two teams are no matter how many times the Colts lose, for some reason, I still believe in them. And no matter how many times the Jags win, I still don't believe in them.
They made it across the river. They forded the river, you guys.
Craig,
the wagon's back.
I couldn't agree more. I think the Jaguars could beat anyone, but I will never, ever pick them to win again because Trevor Lawrence is capable. Ever. Like, the defensive line for the Jags is good. You know what I mean? Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, like, I know he had the wrist thing, but I think they're playing well. Like, they're surprisingly good. A lot of things I made fun of them. I made fun of them paying Jordan Lewis like $10 million a year at nickelback to be the oldest nickel in the league. Like, they're playing well on defense, but I agree, DK. I think it's a little fake. I also I feel like I can see in the flames Trevor Lawrence throwing an interception to Cam Bynum, the Colts safety, and him doing some weird rom-com dance from 2003 in the end zone. And Trevor Lawrence just does too much dumb shit for me to believe that the Jags are going to win. I also think the word fracture is throwing us off.
It's a hairline.
Hairline fracture, you know? Probably.
It's just a little broken.
It's a little broken.
Yeah. Also, I'm just like, I don't even know who I think is good on the Jags offense. And I think a lot of guys are good on the Colts offense.
On that note, Brian Thomas Jr., who's back. I'm curious. Right. I want to play the name game with Brian Thomas Jr. If your season's on the line, would you play, like this is your flex spot, it's your last guy you got to start. Would you play Brian Thomas Jr., DK, or would you play Troy Franklin?
You had to ask me about the Broncos.
Yes, I did. I did want to ask you
Probably
about the
Troy
Broncos.
Franklin. That's how bad it's gotten for Brian Thomas.
Wow.
It
Even
will
though
help
Sauce
him
Gardner
in theory that Parker Washington is out.
Would you rather play?
Be out.
That's the thing. Parker Washington's probably out of this game, and Brian Thomas is. I do think he's healthy. He had a nice block. Everyone. Brian Thomas.
Kind of don't want to put my season on Brian Thomas. Do you know he's the wide receiver 47 this year, right next to Hollywood Brown?
High.
He's behind Kayshon Boutte, Trey Tucker, Troy Franklin. This was like an early second round pick.
Okay,
maybe late first.
Would you take Brian Thomas Jr. or Trey Tucker versus the Broncos?
Christ.
Season on the line.
Probably Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas Jr. or A.D. Mitchell on the Jets.
Oh, 80.
Really?
Yeah.
Craig?
When was the last time Brian Thomas got fucking 12 targets?
Oh, dude. God. No, I think I would do Brian Thomas.
They're kind of similar players, honestly. Stylistically.
I would play Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas or Rome Odunze, DK?
Rome Odunze. I would take Rome.
You'd take Wome?
Well, I would take Wome.
Okay. I would take Wome as well.
Games in Jacksonville, not in 14 degrees in Green Bay. I think I'd go Brian Thomas, man.
By the way, the last time Brian Thomas had 12 targets was week 2.
Well, yeah, he got hurt.
He caught 4 of them.
Well, it's preseason.
That's not bad.
That's not. It is bad.
Oh, that's batting 300.
No, that's bad, Craig.
I mean, that's far in
football.
Baseball is great.
In football, it's bad.
333 average is good.
New Orleans, the next.
That sounds good to me.
The next game here, another divisional one, not as fun. New Orleans Saints are at Tampa Bay. I don't think there's much to say here. I mean, Alvin Kamara is probably out. I hope you're not having to play Devin Neal. I don't have much to say about real life or whatever. I mean, the Bucs are getting people back, but the Bucs have an easy schedule going forward, so maybe they win the NFC South.
There's a couple of fantasy questions I want to ask. If Mike Evans is playing in this game, do you play him?
No, because I don't. Someone who's been out for 2 months and just comes back to. So Mike, I think,
for instance, Bucky Irving last week, they said they were going to have him on a pitch count, and then he fucking played like half the game or more.
But that's the problem. Sometimes
this is my problem. Is because I fucking galaxy brained it last week, and I started Sean Tucker on like 3 teams, and he did fuck all.
But I think that's
you did, idiot.
Yeah, I know.
Stupid.
That's because the fucking coach said we're going to bring him along slowly, and then he scored a touchdown. And he played like half the game.
I think receivers are different because a running back that comes back from injury, he looks good on the first drive. The coach might be like, "Fuck it." Keep him playing. Like this is O'Marion Hampton for the Chargers this week. I think of O'Marion Hampton, they're like, oh, yeah, put him on a pitch count. He broke an ankle. He's a rookie. They put him in. If he breaks off a 40-yard run on the first drive, they're going to play him the whole game probably. But if he kind of looks slow, then like Vidal looks good, they'll just be like, screw it. We're going to play Vidal like more of the time. Receiver, I don't know. There's like chemistry. There's rhythm. Maybe it doesn't matter because Mike Evans played with Baker for like 4 seasons. So right. I guess, I don't know. What?
I'm like, I feel like chemistry and rhythm is the one thing they have going for them.
I know. Well, he's still Russ. All right, fine. So Mike Evans.
It's like a collarbone. He's fine.
Mike Evans or Zay Flowers.
I'm probably starting him.
If Mike Evans is a full participant on today and tomorrow, and I would probably play him over Zay Flowers, to be honest.
I think he was limited today, Craig. Let me double check.
I will say the difference with Mike Evans is there's been a couple seasons where Mike Evans very improbably got back to 1,000 yards in a season.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he only has like 4 games to get to 1,000 yards.
Have like 250 a game.
Yeah, he's 140 yards this season.
Yeah.
Wait, we got to do
He was
math.
limited today, Craig.
So he needs 860. How many games left in the season?
5 games left. So he needs
172 yards a game.
That's not that
That's
crazy.
fucking doable.
You know what's funny? I feel like he will have 200 yards in one of the remaining games.
yeah.
And 3 touchdowns. It's just picking the right week to start him.
So
Yeah,
you're playing Olave, and that's probably it. You're playing on the Saints. You're playing maybe Mike Evans. We're saying tentatively yes to Mike Evans. You're playing Ibuka. You're playing Bucky Irving.
Yes.
Yeah, Godwin both dropped a touchdown. I don't know if he looked great, but I mean, he had 2 injuries this year. But yeah, it's an ugly game. DK, your Seahawks are at the Atlanta Falcons this week.
Yeah, and I think the talking point in Seattle this week has definitely just been like, can we get a clean game from Sam Darnold? Please, God, for the love of God, stop turning the ball over. That's all we want.
It's not like he leads the league in turnovers.
Yeah, he does.
And did he have a turnover last week?
He did.
He fumbled?
Yeah, he fumbled twice, actually.
Right.
Luckily, one of them, another Seahawk jumped on it. That's like my main thing is obviously I just kind of want him to play a clean game. The Falcons defense has fallen a long way since it was number 1 in DVOA early in the year. It's now no longer number 1 in DVOA. They are 4-8. They've had a really fucking weird season. They beat the Bills in week 6, one of the weirdest games of the season. Since then, they've lost 6 out of their last 7. They lost to the Jets last week. I guess that's all I really had to say. They lost to the Jets last week.
And they lost their quarterback and their starting wide receiver, their best wide receiver.
They have Kirk Cousins out there. Drake London, it's looking like he probably won't play. He did not practice today.
He's not going to play.
He's got a PCL injury in his knee. Even Drake London, for example, Mike Evans coming back, I'd play him. It's a collarbone. Drake London, PCL injury in his knee.
Those are like notoriously hard to come back from.
Yes.
The question here is, are you playing our guy, Kyle Pitts?
I think he's their number 1 receiver.
He is. And yet.
So against the Seahawks, that's kind of tough, though.
No. My answer
Probably
is
not.
no.
Probably
And I think
the answer is no as well. I think the Seahawks, there's a chance they kick the shit out of Atlanta.
So here's the thing with Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is all-time fooling the Waddle model and the idea that projections keep saying, well, he's due for this many targets and this many catches. And I'm like, I don't think Kyle Pitts at any point really had a great rapport with Kirk Cousins outside of 1 month with a crazy schedule in October last year. And I hate the guy. And honestly, I feel so strongly about this. I bet Kyle Pitts will be the number 1 tight end in fantasy this week. Now that I'm saying
kind of on a hate tour.
Well, it's a stanza.
I hate the guy. I like that you were trying to go analytical and then you're like, I
fucking hate the guy. I hate the guy. No, I honestly, this is if every instinct you have is wrong, the opposite must be right. I think Pitts, maybe you should bet. Maybe you should play him because he has 11 touchdowns in 5 years.
Waddle model, 5 out of 12 games, he's hit the Waddle model.
That means he's hit the
how many of them
projection, by the way.
I'm saying that's bad.
I just
Craig, now 300's bad. Okay.
That's 400, DK.
Oh, sorry.
We saw a game with no Drake London and no Michael Penix. And Mooney got hurt, and Pitts had 3 points.
Well, last week he had 80 yards and 7 catches.
He looked good. He looked good, you guys.
But I don't know. They're on the road in Seattle. I just don't like it.
This is one of those.
It's in Atlanta.
I'm not telling people not to
Still,
play. I don't know if you have a better option than Pitts. I don't know if you do. But I'll tell you that in the Ringer Fantasy League, I have made the decision that I would rather I cut him. I added Darren Waller.
You're like, I don't want the temptation.
I did that for 2. Yes, that's what I did. I did that for 2 reasons. Darren Waller's playing the Bengals in week 16, and I want that for the first round bye. And I also decided I can live and sleep at night if I lose the Ringer Fantasy League because Kyle Pitts was really good. But I could never live with myself if I lose the Ringer Fantasy League because I trusted Kyle Pitts. Yeah, I can't go down that way, and it's an emotional decision.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But he could be good this week because I hate him. So that's usually how it goes. Other games in the early window that just suck. Washington is at the Vikings, and it was this before the season looked like a lovely matchup between Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy. And now it's kind of just fucked up.
Guys, Jaden Daniels might play in this game.
Well, it's weird. He fully practiced on Thursday, but he has not been cleared for contact.
But if you're fully practicing, as we learned recently, that means you're with the starters, isn't it?
Well, I guess I never actually thought of that, but I guess because quarterbacks don't take contact in practice, I guess that
he'll get cleared for contact on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I guess I kind of think he's going to play. It's one of the trickier dilemmas. Let's go through McLaurin. I think you're playing regardless of who the quarterback is, Mariota or Jaden.
Terry looks good versus the Broncos.
But it's the first game all year he's looked healthy. Do you play Jaden Daniels? You don't. You've had other options now because Jaden's been out.
Well, you can because
in Superflex you do in one QB.
And one QB,
it depends because right around Jaden got hurt, you might have Jackson Dart and Jackson Dart's on bye, Purdy on there's Drake May. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are probably playing in lineups this week that you can start. So I think look, Jaden, he's still gonna move and run. Jaden's problem.
I know, it's just kind of who he is. It's like Dart. These guys. That's what makes him good also.
But Jaden adapted to not taking hits way faster than Dart has. Dart had his window. Jaden he still does it.
The Jaden injury was really fluky.
It was a freak injury. And everyone blamed Dan Quinn. And I'm like, it was his offhand was bracing himself. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah. But I do think that's going to affect his willingness to run and get hit. He is going to be. Yeah, exactly. Let's name game it. Let's go through quarterbacks that you could have added once Jaden Daniels went down. Would you play Jacoby Brissett or Jaden Daniels?
Brissett.
Would you play Caleb Williams?
I'd play
probably.
I'd play Jaden.
Well, you have Caleb ranked ahead of him. But would you have?
I'm gonna go adjust the ranks, baby.
Yeah, baby. What about Bo Nix?
You know what the difference is, and I will make this tweak. The difference is sometimes we'll check the weather the morning of, but I'm like, that game is outside in Green Bay. It's in Green Bay, and I'm like, this isn't a dome.
It'll be 17 degrees.
I agree with that, Heifetz. Would you play Darnold?
I would play Jaden
over Darnold. Really?
Darnold had 3 points last week.
Darnold has not had Darnold. I think has had 9 points.
Yeah. Jaden had 0
in the last 5 weeks.
True. So not that much better.
That's a good point. Yeah, there's not that much of a difference if you just
play, Craig.
If you just left Jaden in your lineup, not that much worse than Darnold.
I don't know. I feel like Darnold's just going to have a rock solid 250 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Guys, I have Jaden in the Ringer League. I need to make this fucking call. So tell me what to do. I literally have Darnold. I believe I have Darnold and Jaden.
No, you don't. I have Darnold. You don't have Darnold.
Who do I have? Who's my second QB?
You have 25 leagues.
You don't know any of your teams.
What's going on.
So
that's your real life team.
That's how this shit goes.
The line is blurring for it up. Anyway, we're burying the lead here too, which is the
return of 9.
Sorry, it's Gino, not Darnold.
Okay.
No wonder
I'm starting Jaden.
I've already forgotten who's on your team. I don't even know what.
No one cares about your team. So
Jesus Christ, you guys are tough sub out here.
Did we help people with Jaden Daniels there? I don't know. Did we help them?
You didn't help me. I ultimately just made my own call.
Yeah.
So thanks for nothing.
Which is what?
Jerks.
What did you decide? You're playing him over Gino.
Jaden Daniels over Geno Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, I would start him over Darnold.
Would you play Jaden or Lamar Jackson?
Oh, geez.
God, shoot me.
Probably Lamar. Who's healthier?
I don't know.
That's I think
there's a chance you could call Jaden healthier.
Yeah. Cripes.
I think.
That's so funny. I don't know. Part of me is like, the issue is it's his other elbow. The problem, the reason it's a problem with Herbert with his hand and everything, I'm like, no, seriousness. The problem is under center. Jaden Daniels doesn't go under center. Yeah. And you know what else? Like, oh no, Herbert has to do everything from pistol or shotgun. It's all Jaden does. And it's not his hand. Handing off's not a problem. Part of me is like, it's fucking fine.
It's fucking fine.
He dislocated his elbow like 20 days ago.
That's the thing. You know what's funny?
It's fine. Stop worrying.
You know what's funny? Isn't the version of Jaden Daniels that you're thinking about playing in your head the one that kind of limped off in agony? But it's weird that they're going to clear him to play football.
Do you think don't you think they probably shouldn't? Like, he should just not be playing.
Well, this is the Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had a really good answer.
He did.
Multiple times on the press conference and then also on the field. And they were like, how would you explain? It was a good question too. They were
because he's a competitor?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, he's just like, I'm a football player. When I'm healthy, I'm going to play football. Yeah. It's my job.
He said I like the way they phrased it too, which is, how would you explain to your Bengals fans who think you're the part of the team and this season's over and you should play in the future, you're the future of the team and you should think about the future. How would you explain to them why you're playing right now? And he was like, I get paid a lot of money to play a kid's game. I should probably do that.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of obvious. Like, when it's easy to say the team should bench him, they're bad. When you're actually the guy and you're healthy and this is your job and your life's work, you're like, yeah, of course. If I'm capable of playing physically, I should. I
kind of just think play Jaden Daniels. I mean, it depends.
But
it depends.
With the context that this is the same organization that our G3 played for.
It is and it isn't, because literally none of those people are left. But crucially,
even the name of the team is different.
Okay, that's true. Crucial. Right. That's true. The only thing left.
Okay, they're gonna have a different stadium soon.
So
like
they're in the same field. This game's in Minnesota. These okay, wait. So canceled team.
So we Jaden Daniels. We have. I guess tweet us and we'll tell you what.
We'll figure out. I got to tell you, I didn't think he was going to play this.
Tweet Craig.
Game.
Yeah, tweet me.
We'll update the we'll update the rankings with Jaden. We'll add it.
We do have the return of what?
We're burying the fucking lead, which is this
I'm trying
Washington
to get
Vikings. There. Okay, do it.
We have the return of 9. 9 is back.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
He's trying to become 10. 9 is back. JJ McCarthy from his concussion is going to start. And I will say Max Brosmer was worse than JJ McCarthy. So we can at least say that. And I would say that JJ McCarthy is better for Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and everybody else in the Vikings than Max Brosmer.
Can I give one last stat? The last thing we'll ever do, talk about Max Brosmer. Bill Barton will have this at ESPN. Max Brosmer's EPA per play last week in the 26-0 loss to the Seahawks. Max Brosmer's EPA per play was negative 0.8, which is
that's
almost exactly the same as Kendall Hinton when the Broncos, all the quarterbacks got
receiver
COVID and
who
rolled
played
out.
Quarterback?
The receiver had to play quarterback for the Broncos.
I mean, that literally means every single play, like the Vikings are losing real life points.
Every play, every time Max Brosmer snapped the ball, the Vikings lost basically.
Not expected. These are actual like point losses.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Justin Jefferson is one of the trickier real life start-sit dilemmas in fantasy. His last 3 games with McCarthy, fantasy-wise, Justin Jefferson has put up 13 points, 5 and 8. Washington
Not as bad as I thought, honestly.
DK, if I put a gun to your head and I'm like, if you get this wrong, I'm going to kill you. Justin Jefferson or A.D. Mitchell, who will score more fantasy points this week?
Probably Jefferson.
Yeah.
Craig?
Mm-hmm.
What about Troy Frank?
I was drinking water.
Totally.
I would do Jefferson in that situation.
I think this is the ultimate, do you just trust talent blindly or do you pay attention to anything that's happened recently? Like Crucible?
Right. This is like, yeah.
Because we're not going to, can I be transparent for those people listening? You're on your own. We're not coming to save you. No one's going to tell you to bench Justin Jefferson. I'm not going to say it. They're not going to say it because we're scared. We're scared he'll do great. Can I tell you the truth? You probably fucking should, but I don't think you should, and I'm too scared to do it. And you probably won't do it, but you're going to go down because you didn't do it. But you should play him.
I think you should play him. Washington has given up the 5th most points to wide receivers in fantasy. JJ McCarthy has targeted Justin Jefferson 9 times, 12 times, 9 times.
Jefferson's going to have
how many of those were over his head?
Probably half of them, but I think you have to.
Did you see Kevin McCarthy? Or sorry, Kevin McCarthy. That's a former Speaker of the House. Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings coach. I was trying to think of a joke there. I couldn't think of a connection. But Kevin O'Connell went from a detailed mechanical breakdown on things JJ McCarthy should improve to being like, you know what? I think we got to get him to stop worrying about the mechanics and he's got to just start thinking about where to put the ball all the time.
He's going to just feel it now. Fuck it.
Craig, DK's going to drift off because we're talking about golf. But you know in golf when you try to help someone, like someone tries to fix their swing in the middle of the course and then like it gets worse and you're like, you know what?
Just hit it.
Just hit the ball.
Do what feels right.
Ball with a stick, just hit it.
So I gotta say, sometimes myself when I'm golfing and I'm like thinking of like, keep the elbow straight, keep the arm tight, rotate back, get your hands through. Sometimes that you end up piling on so many things that the house collapses, and then I eventually just distill that down to just like one thing where I'm like, you know what, just do it. Do what feels right. Sometimes that actually works.
DK, would you play Justin Jefferson or Devontae Smith?
Cripes.
I want to say I really appreciate that you're asking DK all these
why
questions.
do I keep having?
All right, fine. I got one. We have this ranking. We have this ranking, and I have a quibble with our ranking.
Okay.
I would play Justin Jefferson over Devontae Smith.
I got one. I want to move him down. We have Justin Jefferson over Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. There is no way.
I don't.
If my life was on the line,
I have Michael Wilson ahead of him for that reason.
Yeah. We have to. I mean, Michael Wilson. Guys, Alec Pierce. I think you should play over Justin Jefferson.
I don't think I would do that.
If I was gonna die, I would play Alec Pierce.
If you were gonna die, you'd play Alec Pierce over Justin Jefferson. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
Alec Pierce had 5 targets. They had 2 the week before. They had 2. He had 1 catch, 2 targets.
I don't care.
Okay.
I think you'll outdo him. No, he had Alec Pierce had 78 yards last week.
I said the week before that he had 2 targets.
Put some money on it.
Heifetz, do you want to do the I take Justin Jefferson, you take Alec Pierce, loser dies?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Loser fucking dies.
God.
Done. Sold. In a heartbeat.
Trial by combat.
Interesting choice of words there, in a heartbeat.
All right. Well, lock that in. Everyone just heard that, so that's locked in.
You're not playing anybody else, right? You're not playing Addison, Hawkinson.
I think Addison is below the bar of anybody could score in a given week. Jordan Addison actually had a couple catches from J.J. McCarthy in big spots this year, but I think Addison has been so bad recently that I don't think you can justify playing him. Like he's been probably pound for pound one of the single worst players in fantasy over the last 3 weeks. Jordan Addison. Like if you played him, I don't think anyone's harbinger. He had 36 yards, 0 and 20 and 35.
He hasn't had double-digit fantasy points since week 5.
He's probably there's probably very few players that you could have just played the last month that would have done less for you than Jordan Addison. Almost nobody.
Actually, that's wrong. He hasn't had double-digit fantasy points in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Not
so
6
I
5.
Watch Jefferson. Watch JJ McCarthy.
What do you think? I bet 9 is going to really play well this weekend.
To be honest with you, there's something in my body makes me think he's going to play okay.
Part of me, we should do a Costanza. You know why? There is probably something to, if Kevin O'Connell started talking about his mechanics a month ago publicly, he probably was talking about his mechanics for the month prior privately. Part of me does wonder if the moment JJ McCarthy stops fucking worrying about his mechanics, he'll look fine.
He's literally like Kevin O'Connell is telling him to think less, and he did just get concussed.
That's true.
So that might help.
Slows the game down.
Right. Now he's just all instincts. One thing before we go, though, I would say Aaron Jones, if he plays, he has a shoulder injury. If Aaron Jones plays, I think you play him. I think he's an okay flex start.
It's a good example of it's not perfect, but I just doubt you have a better player.
I agree.
But you're going to sweat every time he gets tackled.
The worst.
For sure. It'll be the worst day ever.
But, and running backs get tackled kind of a lot.
Dude, people are going to be in their lineup. They're going to be like playing Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson, and the Vikings are going to have no completions through like 20 minutes. And people are going to be like, they said that the game would be better for.
This is a nightmare week of fantasy.
Awful. Speaking of which,
there's a bunch of buys.
Titans are at the Browns this week. This
My
is
God.
horrific. And the Titans are 1-11. Browns are 3-9. I wouldn't. Literally the only player I think you should play in fantasy in this game is Quinshon Judkins. I wouldn't play a single Titan. Wouldn't play a single Brown with my. I guess if you deeper league the tight ends, fine. But the only thing from this game is I think there's a small chance Myles Garrett just gets 4 sacks and sets the sack record in this game because Cam Ward's the most sack quarterback in the NFL. And Myles Garrett already has 19, and the record is Michael Strahan and T.J. Watt tied at 22.5.
Yeah.
I think Myles Garrett, there's a chance he has 2 sacks at halftime.
Yeah,
and it's just So
did you guys see the touching conversation that was making the rounds between Myles Garrett and George Kittle this week? I actually really love when they have the guys mic'd up and they're just chatting on the field, just chit chat. George Kittle was like, I'm just happy to be here right now. Healthy playing football in November. It's great. He's like, and they're just like so polite to each other. It's just like really funny. Garrett was like, can you please stop chipping me? And Kittle's like, no, I'm going to keep doing it.
I hope you break the record, but don't do it against Brock, please.
Right. He's like, I could tell Brock to get to give you a sack if you want.
Do you know what's funny? Did you see the unreleased version that leaked from that conversation? It kept going. They edited it.
Oh, God, no.
Myles Garrett was like, what the fuck's with Juwan Jennings? And Kittle's like, I don't know. He's a hoe, though.
Sure.
I want that to be known.
He's
like, I'm mic'd up right now. I want that to be known.
Dolphins are at the Jets, which is also just
Just appointment television right here. The Dolphins have won 4 out of 5 games. They've beaten the Falcons, Bills, Commanders, and Saints. Lost to the Ravens in that stretch. I don't know what to say about this game. I think Devon Achane is borderline elite level at this point. I think he doesn't have the same sort of reputation or whatever as the other top elite running backs, but the 4 guys that he's behind this year, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. Like he's in that group and he's not very far behind. I think it's just a little bit smaller than the other guys. Maybe really, he's not that much smaller.
The truth is the Dolphins haven't won or been relevant into the standings in 3 years. And that's the only reason he doesn't get shine.
Yeah. For the award that I'm making up right now, the Glansberg MVP of the season, it's him. Like the fact that he's played every single game, he's been healthy the entire year.
Knock on wood.
And he's a top 5 running back on the season and has been just like amazing, especially as a receiver. Like he is quietly one of the most valuable players in fantasy that nobody talks about.
Yeah. And the thing I would add to that is last year it felt like cheap is probably too strong a word, but like his points were a little bit cheap in half PPR point in situations because, he was just getting spammed targets. But I would say this year he's made some incredible runs, which gives me like it reignites my love for him because I just think last year he was kind of banged up. He didn't have that many runs. He didn't have explosive runs last year. This year he's back, man. He's like breaking tackles. He is getting, he's running through the tackles and getting past the first line and then just beating guys on, just beating second level defenders because he's so fast, he's so explosive. He's juking guys out of their socks. He just looks incredible this year. So I just wanted to make sure we talk about him a little bit because we just haven't really talked about the Dolphins other than complaining about Tua or Waddle.
The late slate here. Rams are at the Cardinals. Rams coming off the loss to Carolina. The instincts burn the tape. Like that game's an aberration. In reality, Matt Stafford going 20 touchdowns without a pick was actually the aberration. The guy who doesn't look where he's throwing all the time. But, sometimes that's weird. But there's nothing to talk about for fantasy. Like you're playing all the Rams. There's nothing to talk about with this game. Like the Rams are going to win. I think the only thing to talk about here is just for fantasy purposes. I think the Cardinals also a little Glansbergy. Jacoby Brissett has attempted 190 passes in the last 4 weeks, which is crazy. And so
keep him in there forever.
So as a result,
quarterback.
I think another Glansberg is Trey McBride, who leads all players in catches. All players. So Trey McBride turned out to have been the only tight end that mattered in the draft for fantasy. Because in the beginning of the year, third of the way through the season, it was like, Tucker Kraft, but he tore his ACL. Jake Ferguson, but CeeDee Lamb came back and he got market corrected. Brock Bowers was hurt, so he's good now, but he's had like 2 good games, 3 good games. Trey McBride has just been the only receiver playing tight end, and everyone else has just been a tight end. So he's been a difference maker. And then you got Michael Wilson, who I think if you probably have to play because Michael Wilson's just has like 50 points the last 2 weeks. And then Marvin Harrison Jr., who I was going to bring up as a question, and then he didn't even practice today on Thursday with his heel injury that followed up the appendicitis he had. So, I mean, Marvin Harrison didn't practice today. I don't think there's anything to talk about. I mean, Michael Wilson, you start. Trey McBride, obviously. But I don't know, man. If Marvin's anything less than a full participant on a Friday, the last thing I want after seeing Marvin Harrison healthy for 2 years, I don't really have anything interest, even with all the passes Brissett's throwing. I don't want a less than 100% Marvin Harrison with the heel injury. So we'll see what the health is. But
he probably won't play.
No, I don't.
We have him as a top 30 player, but we'll see.
And Trey Benson is like maybe not going to be back this year.
I was going to say, so Bam, that's the real thing to me. Bam Knight, Zonovan Knight, the Cardinals. I think he's the starting running back for the Arizona Cardinals, and he's available like everywhere. And the Cardinals aren't an efficient running game, but it doesn't matter. They're running a lot of goddamn plays, and they're getting the goal line. I think Bam Knight is a starting running back that could save your season. Mm-hmm. So if he's available, I would add him because I think he's just going to. I don't know if Trey Benson isn't activated by next Wednesday. Trey Benson will not come back this season per the rules of injured reserve. And I don't know if he had a setback or what, but either Trey Benson's back next week or Zonovan Knight's like the starter. So I would add him, especially before this game if he's available. Broncos are at the Raiders. DK, what do you make of this? Because the last time they played, it was 10-7. And the Broncos won and were the most demoralized winning team I've seen of any team all year.
I don't have a ton of confidence in the Raiders right now.
Really?
No, why not?
Gonna be honest with you. Seems like the vibes are low. Seems like they're not a very good team. Seems like Pete Carroll has not lifted the spirits of anybody on this roster. What's your question? Oh, yeah, the Raiders suck. What's your question? How am I feeling about this game? I think the Broncos will win.
Well, the last time these two teams played, it was 10-7. It was the worst game ever. And they're matching up again like a month later. This is the perfect matchup. Week 14 of your fantasy season is on the line. This is the perfect matchup for Sean Payton to absolutely fuck you. Because on paper, you're like, this is awesome.
He's just licking his chops.
We're playing in Vegas against the Raiders, 2-10 Raiders. Like, maybe I can start all of these Broncos players. And yet, right now, things are more muddled than they've been in months. No Broncos wide receiver has averaged double-digit points over the last month. The player with the most targets has changed each of the last 3 games. It's gone from Franklin to Sutton to Pat Bryant.
It's just beautiful.
I was reading Rich Rebar for Sharp Football Analysis, his breakdown of this game, and he thinks that Pat Bryant is starting to play more because he's better in the run game than Troy Franklin, more physical, better at run blocking, and that's why he's perhaps getting a little bit more snaps. So now that's confusing between Sutton, Franklin, and Bryant. And I think the only player you probably feel confident starting right now is RJ Harvey for Denver. I would still probably play Sutton, and Franklin is been tricky because he's really slowed down like the last month.
Who's the random ass Bronco who's going to lead the team in receiving this week?
Probably Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yeah,
probably.
I can see that.
And then Raiders. I mean, you're playing Brock Bowers and Genty. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Genty will get you like the ugliest 16 points you've ever seen in your life because he can't run the ball, but he's basically like off brand McCaffrey now, where like he does get like 8 targets a game. And he can't run. So
this is an ugly game.
Bizarre Genty season.
Sunday Night Football. Texans
what a game.
This will be fun.
This is a good game. The Houston Texans are at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a rematch of the playoffs last year, which was much closer than the score indicates. I think the Chiefs won 25-13. It was way closer.
Texans were winning that game in the fourth quarter.
It was very, very, honestly, it kind of foreshadowed a lot of what happened this season for both teams. But the Chiefs have a 90% chance of missing the playoffs if Kansas City loses this game. And it actually feels higher than that.
Wow.
But now Kansas City's facing Houston, who has the best defense in the AFC. And Kansas City might be, versus maybe the best defense in the league, or at least the second best defense in the league. Kansas City might be down 3 of their top 5 offensive linemen because Josh Simmons, the left tackle, who's Kansas City's first round pick, got wrist surgery and he's on injured reserve. Kansas City's right tackle, Jawan Taylor, who's the second highest paid player on the Chiefs after Patrick Mahomes, has a triceps injury. And Kansas City's right guard, Trey Smith, who's the second highest paid guard in the NFL, sprained his ankle. So there's guys, Simmons is out. Jawan Taylor, Trey Smith, we'll see if they play. They'll be either not 100% or out of the game. But instead of their second highest paid player, the second highest paid guard in the entire league, and their first round pick, they will have Mike Caliendo at guard maybe. Jalen Moore would be at right tackle. And then Wanya Morris at left tackle after the Chiefs spent the entire offseason trying to avoid Wanya Morris at left tackle might play this week. And they are going to face Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter at edge rusher for Houston, who are both in the top 6 in the NFL in quarterback pressures. So DK, the Texans are favored. The Chiefs are favored to win this game by 3.5 points.
Yeah.
And I know this game is in Kansas City and it's really cold in Kansas City and it's like on the road and it's a loud stadium.
You're right.
But my instinct was I kind of thought this game, I think with getting 3.5 points, I don't know. I kind of just think the Texans are going to win this game outright.
Yeah, I like the Texans in this one. I think you laid it out really well in terms of just like the trench, the differences in strength in the trenches is really, really important in this game. And I could see, the Texans, man, they're just like so tough and physical and swarming on defense. They got some guys in the secondary that are big time playmakers. Kalen Bullock has just been all over the place. Yeah, I kind of like the Texans. I've like over the last couple of weeks become a huge fan of the Texans. Like I actually like watching them play. For most of last year and the start of this year, I was like, this team is, I can't watch this team. But when you like forget about the fantasy aspect of it and just like focus on the defense, they are fun as fuck to watch. But I think their offense has been making strides as well too. So that's important.
Barnwell had a great note at ESPN that the Texans have really more than any team leaned into having 6 offensive linemen on the field the last 5 or 6 weeks. And they've done it somewhere, I think 8-10 plays a game, something like that. And It has helped them not be in third and long every goddamn drive, which is what we complained about for like 3 years now. Is it's always like CJ Stroud's never seen a third down less than 7 yards. But now that that's not a thing all the time anymore, it's been a little better. But yeah, I don't know, Craig, where do you fall on this? Because I mean, fantasy real life feels the same to me. It's like Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, obviously. Mahomes is weird. Mahomes is also a weird quarterback for fantasy this week. He was the number one guy last week. You can't bench him, but it feels like you might go down. I don't know.
You can't not play. Is Mahomes, I believe, is the number one quarterback in fantasy this season. Like
I know.
You're playing Mahomes, and
I know.
It's tricky because the stat you gave at the top, they have a 90% chance to miss the playoffs if they lose this game, immediately makes me go, well, then I'm just going to bet the Chiefs. Like if you look at the actual like information you have coming into this game, everything points me to Houston. I'm like, the offensive line of the Chiefs versus the defensive line of the Texans. Like, give me a break. Like the Chiefs have not been playing well. Their defense hasn't been as good. They cannot run the ball. All this stuff. But I'm like, is Mahomes going to really go 6-7? That's like kind of been my philosophy with the Chiefs this whole season. I'm like, is Mahomes really going to miss the playoffs? Are they really going to have a losing record? I don't think so. And luckily, we don't have to bet on this game. We don't have to bet on every game. And I don't want to bet on this game because my brain is telling me to bet on Houston. My heart says bet on Mahomes.
Even though betting is now live in Missouri.
That's true.
Not an ad. But I guess that's a good argument. Also, for fantasy, Mahomes is probably going to run a fuck ton because he's going to be scrambling so much. But we'll see if they can contain him. But the Houston, it's fair. But it's funny though. How long are we going to do that argument though? Like, well, the Chiefs can't go this record, and then they just.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, I mean, if somebody made me choose, if I had to bet the game, I would bet Houston. That's how I feel.
They need to run the ball. So I think Woody Marks is a difficult fantasy.
He's back at practice today, which is good.
3.5 is a lot. I was surprised. I think 3 or 2.5 makes a lot more sense. 3.5 is crazy.
I think it's because of what you said. It's Chiefs in an elimination game.
But I'm like, shit, man, they can lose by a touchdown. The Texans can lose by a field goal and still cover. I'm like, that's kind of nice.
Chiefs need to run the ball.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football. Eagles at Chargers. This is a weird game, and a lot of things are going on with like injuries in this game.
This game, I'm just calling it right now. This game is going to be such a disappointing Monday night product. Like everyone is going to have so much weighing on this game, and it's going to suck. It's going to be super ugly. It's going to be like an old school Jalen Hurts snooze fest. I think both teams are just going to try to run the ball, throw the ball, get it out of Herbert's hands quickly. Herbert has
hands since one of them is broken and he got
get it out of his one hand quickly. So Herbert broke a bone in his hand. It hit a helmet. He had surgery on Monday. There's now a plate in his hand, and it looks like he's going to play. I think he's going to play.
Yep.
On the other side of the ball, the Eagles. Obviously, things aren't going great. Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle, is not playing. He had surgery on both shoulders, which, God, football.
Football, dude, we do just throw around surgery all the time. If your friend just got surgery on both shoulders one day, you would be so concerned.
I'm like, damn.
Heifetz like 5 minutes ago was like, Jaden Dale, he's fine. Don't worry about it. Dislocated elbow, fine, whatever.
I just kind of think that like no one's going to have a good fantasy day. I think Marion Hampton and Vidal, like I think Herbert out of the pistol, handing the ball off. I don't know. I don't really trust any of that. I think the receivers, I think the only one you should start is Ladd McConkey. I don't trust Quentin Johnston or Keenan Allen. I don't, the Chargers have been super stingy against the pass this year, especially recently. They've been really, really good. They play like too high shell. Everything that the Chargers do is like limit deep shots down the field. And Jalen Hurts, anytime he throws the ball deep, it is like these deep shots down the sidelines. He does not throw over the middle, and the Chargers defense is like kind of forcing you to do that. I just think this game is going to be like, can we run the ball? Can we limit turnovers on both sides? And it's going to be like 17-13 is what I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hampton coming back, the rookie running back, they took in the first round for the Chargers, and then he had an ankle fracture, and then he's coming back.
It's just brutal because Vidal's probably going to split time with him. How much is either one going to play? Are they going to ride the hot hand? Like you said, Heifetz with running back, it's like if Hampton looks good, maybe they play him a lot. If he doesn't,
and I know I'm more conservative with injuries than most people, but to DK's point about Bucky Irving, at least Bucky Irving started all of last year and was great for the Buccaneers. Marion Hampton, what did he play? Like 5 games, 6 games before he broke his ankle? I'm like, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Played like 6 games. How much is he realistically going to play? I have no idea, but it's Monday and that sucks. But it's also crazy if you have Kamani Vidal, who's had every other week he's been good.
I just think the Chargers, it's like with Herbert's hand, I think they're going to try to run the ball as best they can. Chicago just torched Philly on the ground, running for over 200 yards. I think LA's going to try to run the ball out of the pistol, so Herbert doesn't have to do that much. And when Herbert does throw, I think it's going to be like short, quick stuff. And I'm kind of just like, this is a really ugly game. And it's hard to trust anything going on in Philly. I mean, you're playing A.J. Brown, but...
To that point, DK, I feel like if Herbert does play, I don't think they'll be under center very much because I don't think the exchange. I guess I'm not a doctor, but I don't know if he's going to be taking the ball from under center with a plate in his fucking hand.
It's different because he had the surgery, but after he hurt his hand last week, he took 0 snaps under center for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
I think either way. I know the Eagles just allowed 280 rushing yards to the Bears, which, by the way, was Rich Rebar at Sharp, the most incredible stats. The 281 rushing yards to the Bears was the most a Vic Fangio coordinated defense had allowed since 2005.
Wow.
Having said that, I don't really feel that the Chargers can necessarily do that the way the Chicago did.
I would agree with that. Even if there's no Jalen Carter. I don't know. I just think this game is going to be nasty, and we're going to be hoping for like Justin Herbert versus Jalen Hurts, and it's going to be a letdown.
And also, I think it's a rare game where it's funny. This is funny sometimes with fantasy where you're right. A lot of people have a lot of players in this game, especially the rare one where Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, and even Aronda Gadsden, the tight end, are all good enough and have had good enough weeks that people might put them in their flex.
Yeah.
But you also have a quarterback who got surgery on his other hand like 5 days ago. And it's just going to be funny that you need them to do something against the Eagles. So AJ, it's kind of, Also, again, Saquon, who has under 60 yards like 9 times this year.
You know, it'd suck if Trey Lance ends up starting.
Oh my God. On that note, if you have Chargers in this game, you got to put them in your flex. You can't keep them in your receiver slot because you might have to bench them if it turns out that Lance is playing.
Yeah. I think Herbert's going to play.
I mean, I do too, but I'm just saying
he's going to play with like a stiff glove, like a hand
an
cast.
oven mitt?
Oh. Yeah, like an oven mitt.
By the way, wait, one last stat on this game because I think A.J. Brown hurts drama. The Eagles offensive coordinators, Kevin Petul's, his house got egged, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, all this stuff. And I had my rant earlier this week where I think that the short version of this whole Eagles thing, you're like, what's going on with them? Is just when Nick Sirianni hires the coordinators to run his offense, it sucks. And then they fire them and the Eagles hire their own coordinator and then they make the Super Bowl. And then Sirianni's like, I made the Super Bowl, I want to hire the coordinators, and then they suck. And that's why every other year it's like this. A stat that I think really encapsulates that I was shocked when I was trying to figure out how bad certain offenses were. And I like stuff rate, which is just matches the eye test as a football watcher. Like, how often does a run gain 0 or negative yards? And the number one teams you get a quarter of the time, the Raiders are number 1. That makes sense. The Browns are number 2. The Eagles are 3rd.
Man,
almost 1 out of every 4. And this is just running back runs too. You filtered out quarterbacks and receivers and jet sweeps. Running back carries. Almost a quarter of the Eagles running back carries this season gained 0 yards or lost yardage.
The Eagles have gone 3 plays and then punt the ball on a league high 31% of their possessions.
Dude, they're leading the league in 3 and outs.
More than Tennessee.
What?
That's crazy.
That is wild.
This game's going to stink.
If all this, after talking about all this is going to be a barn burner. It's going to be 54-51.
I hope it is.
Speaking of which, all right, we're going to get to the Ringer 107. Today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel. We're doing this competition against all the other podcasts here at the Ringer, picking 5 games a week against the spread. And we are in we're kind of like the NFC North, where we're in first place, but it's not really impressive for anybody involved.
Yeah, we're like the Steelers. Our show
North,
versus Bill and House is like Steelers Ravens this week.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I don't want to know who's who.
What is this really for? Yeah.
So speaking of bad, Craig, we both sent each other some games, and I think we both picked 5 or 6, and we didn't have any overlap, which is the odds of that statistically are astonishing.
What are you talking about? I see a bunch.
Did we?
Both have this. We both have the Steelers. We both have the Colts. We both have the Texans.
Yeah. What do you want? You said Houston. You just made a case against Houston. You just made this passionate case to not take the Texans.
But I said if I had to bet it, I would bet Houston.
Okay. All right. Well, what do they get? Which of these are your favorite, though?
To be fair, you said we don't have to bet this game.
We don't have to, but if I had to, that's what I'm writing down the bets I would make if I had to.
I can't believe I'm defending Heifetz here, Craig, but you just said let's not bet this game.
I said luckily we don't have to bet it.
Okay. So what do you want to bet?
Okay.
Seattle -7. Steelers +5.5.
Well, DK, what do you think of Seattle winning by a touchdown?
Yeah, it's 6.5 right now. Did we get it locked in?
It's 7.
Damn.
What the numbers Bill sent us is, if that's what it is, it's 7. That stinks.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I like that.
I kind of want to bet the Bucs -8.5 to beat the Saints at home, and then the Colts playing the Jags -1.5.
I kind of want to bet the Colts too. Daniel Jones and his broken fucking leg. I'm kind of like, you know what? Screw it.
At least now it's not like we don't have I can't believe I bet on Daniel Jones to beat Patrick Mahomes. It's like, all right, this is Trevor Lawrence versus Daniel Jones. Like, I'm perfectly fine betting on Daniel Jones.
I kind of feel that way too.
All right, so we have Colts, Steelers, Commanders, Bucs. What's the 5th game? Heifetz, do you want to make the case for Chicago or no? I mean, for Green Bay or no?
Well, I think everything I'm saying is built into it because it's like a 7-point. The Packers are supposed to win by a touchdown. But the case is simple. It's just the Bears have been within range of losing a game like that, like every single goddamn week. Like the Bears' whole season has been by the skin of their teeth and the hair on their nuts. And the Packers, you never heard that?
I've never heard that expression.
I've only heard skin in your teeth. It feels like you
never heard that?
The second half.
I think you made that up.
You think I made that's in an Eminem song from like 20 years ago.
Oh, really?
What is that? Cinderella Man. Oh, yeah. I guess that's 10 years ago, 15. Shout out Cinderella Man. Great song.
You know what I thought we should do for Ringer 107? That would be really funny. Is every week we should just take the opposite of another team. Like the other 4 teams in this competition, because we all have a losing record, we should just take the opposite of them every week and see if we could win.
Should we do that?
But we don't know their bets until it's all locked.
Maybe I could finagle that and figure it out.
Oh, stop. We just go find Bill's picks and we just
How hilarious would it be if we just took the opposite of Bill and House for the rest of the season?
I kind of think that's great.
I'm down. That's really funny.
You want me to try to get those picks? Because I send them in to somebody and I could try to see what were these guys' picks? And then we just take the opposite.
Screw it. That'd be really, everyone's under 500. That'd be incredible.
Okay, but if you can't get them, these are the 5 bets we're taking.
Okay. All right.
I've wanted to spin a wheel and just pick 5 and see if the wheel would beat us. And it'll be like, Titans getting 3. And we're like, all right.
I mean, spinning a wheel is essentially flipping a coin, and we have been worse than flipping a coin.
Let the world decide.
Should we, if we're in position to win, can we make a pact? Because we're in first still. If we are in position to win, I guess it's not week 18. It goes to the Super Bowl. It's not as fun. But part of me, week 18, part of me wants to commit that with the season on the line, we will just fucking flip a coin and just roll with it.
Yeah.
Or
we can do it for the entire playoffs if we want.
Fuck, should we let my cat pick the rest of the season?
Dude, also the playoffs is going to be one of the hardest playoffs to bet in years. So we might as well just
we should do that. We just do like one of Can my cat pick the things?
Yeah, why not?
Kind of like that. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com if you have an idea of how we should pick the Ringer 107 for the playoffs. I want to hear that. The most random way we can do it. I like that. We'll get an octopus. He can pick the World Cup or whatever. All right. So we're going with the Colts to beat the Jags, Steelers to lose by less than 6 for the Ravens. Washington just has to beat the Vikings or lose by 1. Bucks have to beat the Saints by 9 or more, and then the Seahawks have to beat the Falcons by touchdown. Today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel, odds subject to change. Okay. Only thing I want to mention here as we leave, the emails, Instagrams too. First of all, thank you to everybody where we were on their Spotify Wrap. That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was crazy to thank you. I don't know how some people listen to 26,000 minutes of us this year, but that's pretty cool.
Is that the highest that we saw so far this year? I think I've seen some. Yeah.
I think so. I got to double check.
26,000. That was like 0.001% fan.
What was your guys' highlight of rap? What was your listening age? What was your top artist?
It was listening age was old because I do 70. I think a lot of people were mad about this because mine was like 66 or something.
Mine was 71, and I was proud of it.
But I think people were like, "Why am I 70? I don't get it." But it's like, well, it's like Craig's listening to the Bee Gees over here.
Fuck yeah, I am.
Yeah, wait, what were your rap? So I got to tell you something. My rap was my number one song this year was Misty Mountains because I picked my friend and his baby up from the airport. And we had to drive 2 hours back from traffic in Newark, and I played Misty Mountains for 4 hours.
It's the only issue with Wrapped is that if you throw your like, you should almost be able to like turn off Wrapped mode or like Wrapped tracking, because when you play a playlist for 5 hours when your friends are over or something like that, and you just like throw on some mix, it tracks all of those and factors that into your listening. It's like less deliberate listening, you know?
But it shows you, yeah. But I feel like it's just a reminder.
Eliminate the outliers.
TK, what was your Wrapped?
I was 83 years old for my age because I listen to a lot of jazz when I'm working and making dinner.
Yeah.
And let's see here. I had basically my top artists were all basically non-lyrical music that I can listen to while I'm working, because I can't, if there's lyrics in the music when I'm working, I like can't focus. So it was like a half jazz and then half like lo-fi beats and stuff.
Yeah, see, I want to know.
Oh, that's really boring.
I know. I want to know what, when you're not cooking or working, that's the Wrapped I want to know.
So, Craig, what's yours?
My artists or my songs?
Both. Well, let's do the artists first.
Krungbin, the Allman Brothers, ABBA, Sabrina Carpenter, and Doechii.
Yeah, Doechii was Carpenter. 2 for me.
Yeah, because I listened to a lot of the new Sabrina Carpenter album. My top songs were songs by Gordon Lightfoot, number 1. Allman Brothers.
Gordon Lightfoot?
Yeah, I love Gordon Lightfoot.
What song?
What?
Sundown. Such a good song.
Gordon Lightfoot's your number 1 artist?
I would never have guessed that in 1 million years.
Yeah, dude, Gordon Lightfoot's fucking awesome, and Sundown's a great song.
What?
The number 2 is Ain't Wasting Time No More by the Allman Brothers. Number 3 is Old Man by Neil Young. Awesome song. Number 4 is Gentle on My Mind by Glenn Campbell. Great song. And then Cracklin' Rosie by Neil Diamond.
God,
wow.
Craig, you are just, you're multitudes, you know? You're just an interesting guy.
You know?
Gordon Lightfoot, number 1 song.
What? Don't disparage him.
I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I literally just would never have guessed that.
I actually think
you could have given me all the bands in the world. He would probably be the last.
Yeah.
Gordon Lightfoot, really? Okay.
No, it's nothing against Gordon Lightfoot.
I confuse Gordon Lightfoot
you've never expressed an interest in Gordon Lightfoot to me.
I confuse Gordon Lightfoot with Flash Gordon.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I thought Gordon Lightfoot when you said it first. I was like, from that show that Family Guy always talks about.
The Gordon Lightfoot did the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald song. Which was all over the news lately because there was just like a anniversary for that.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember Gordon Lightfoot. I apologize to everyone screaming at me. Yeah, that song, that's become a meme.
It has. There's like hats now that say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Gales.
He's known as Canada's Bard. So that's what it says here. That's what I read.
Is that how like Tom Brady's nickname's Tom Terrific?
Do you know the song Sundown?
No.
Not a
wonderful song.
All right. Well, I'll listen to that. We should do the rap party. Mine was honestly just a bunch of Kendrick. My number 1 artist was Kendrick Lamar, I think, because I listened to him for months after the Super Bowl. And then honestly, Doechii was my number 2 because after Doechii was at the Grammys and gave the great speech, and then I listened to a fuck ton of Doechii, and Doechii's awesome. And so actually I had Denial's a River. My top is Misty Mountains, Denial's a River, and then Catfish by Doechii, and then also Not Like Us and TV Off by Kendrick. Very first half of this.
What were your other artists outside of Doechii and Kendrick?
I had Kendrick was 1, Doechii's 2, Flume was 3, West Side Gun is 4, and Olivia Rodrigo was 5. I do wonder how many people have West Side Gun and Olivia Rodrigo in the same top 5.
Who is West Side Gun?
West Side Gun is a rapper who I love. He is from Buffalo, but I just love. I don't know. He's just fucking awesome.
Okay.
And he's just a very New York style rapper. He's very loud and does a lot of sounds, and he's fucking awesome.
That's fun.
And he makes a ton of, he does a ton of albums. Like, he doesn't stop fucking making music. There's so much fucking West Side Gun.
What was your guys' top podcast? And if it's not Bill Simmons, you're fired.
It was ours, actually. I listen back to our podcast sometimes.
It was actually the Ari Emanuel Gordon Lightfoot podcast.
Mine was Bill Big Pick, Plain English.
Oh, yeah. Plain English was on there for me.
Yeah, Derek.
Shouts out Derek. He's been crushing it.
His
show's so good.
One day I want to convince you guys we're going to have Derek Thompson, one of the smartest people I've ever met on, and we're going to have him talk about nothing. We're just going to name baseball players until someone taps him.
You had me until the baseball player thing.
You don't have to convince me to have Derek on. I love it. I just want to find
I don't want him to talk about anything smart. I want to just name baseball players until we can't anymore.
I was
You guys
listening
hate this idea.
listening to Derek Thompson the other day, and he interviewed Ken Burns, and then I went and I started watching The American Revolution. Ken Burns' new.
Is it good or really boring or both?
So far it's like Ken Burnsy. It's like very slow, and just like the way that it's visually set up, it's like very different than everything that's new now. It's like a lot of like pictures, old paintings and stuff, while you have like voiceovers. So it's a little slow, but it's very interesting to me.
Dude, honestly, Ken Burns ripped the beginning of his pod with Derek Thompson's amazing. Ken Burns his pitch on why the American Revolution is sick it's like the most concise 60 seconds.
Yeah, his pitch is basically it's the most important revolution ever.
He said it's the most important event since the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And that it's an American Revolution layered on top of a civil war that was also the Fourth World War, with the prize being North America on top. And it's like his pitch on the American Revolution. He's like, basically like we've sanitized it in like this squeaky clean polished thing. He's like, it was bloody. And he was like, it was
photographs from it. It's just all paintings.
It's all paintings. And he's like, it was radical. I think
it's
it was
all
cool.
Cloyce box shit.
I know. It's fucking paintings. Hey, I'm going to watch it actually this weekend too, DK. I'm going to try. But like how
long is it? Is it like 12 hours long?
It's long. But
have you ever watched any of the Ken Burns documentaries?
I actually don't think I have.
Yeah,
I watched the Central Park
long
5
and
one.
very, very in depth. He explores stuff from a whole bunch of different perspectives and stuff. I think it's very interesting. It is a little bit slow.
Yeah.
I thought the other thing that was interesting that Ken Burns said, and this is something that Derek kind of picked up on too, is that he said George Washington was arguably the richest man in America at the time, and like was leading the fucking troops into battle.
Lived in a tent for 3 years, and it's like with Jeff Bezos.
Was at Valley Forge.
Meanwhile, all the billionaires we have now are just going to pick up and just fucking go to Mars, or just like create a fucking island.
Sure,
in the
their
ocean.
bunkers in Hawaii they're building. Yeah.
They're not sure if it's good for the human race to continue being a thing.
Yeah, Peter Thiel is like, do you want the human race to continue? It's like, oh, well.
Talking about like the Antichrist. You're like, what?
Some guy made the TikTok or the video of just like, all right, Peter, like we got this easy layup question for you. Like you're gonna nail it.
Do you want the human race to exist?
He's like, well, it depends what you mean exactly by continue to
pores?
exist.
Not so much.
If I can put my soul into a clanker, then yes. So that I can live forever.
How do you define?
If the people on Earth right now can live forever, if that's what you mean, yes, is essentially I think what he's saying. Right? He's like, well, if I want to live forever, so does that mean the human race continues if it's just me?
The other thing about that is so funny is that the name of Peter Thiel's company that is now has all these contracts is Palantir. And Palantir is literally the crystal ball that Saruman has in fucking Lord of the Rings. That like they use like literally like the ball that like Lord of the Rings, Sauron, Satan, Beelzebub fucking uses. That's like it's on their side.
By the way, I'm going to make a pledge this holiday season. I'm going to watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh no!
Nice.
Stop,
Craig. I can send you a link to somebody did like a whole food menu for binge watching the Lord of the Rings.
I don't think
I'm all
DK,
right.
you're scaring him. You're scaring him, DK. Stop.
Jesus Christ.
You're fucking scaring him.
You're the one that makes bread.
What? No, but it's that's like a super fan. You're gonna weird him out. Be chill. Be cool.
What do I gotta? Right. Do I have to like drink like some
don't
weird?
Worry about that.
Just eat good food. That's
I don't
all.
get it. Is it associated with the movie, or it's just like here's good food
like,
you should eat?
You know, like sometimes
hobbits have like 7 or 8 different meals a day, and it's a play on that. You'd have to.
I don't think I'm gonna watch the movies anymore.
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, the holidays is the perfect time for Lord of the Rings.
I'm never fucking listening to any of your fucking diatribes on bread again. Assholes.
But DK, but you're saying you want him to make Lord of the Rings themed food?
I thought that you'd be excited about eating good food. That's all. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
I think what we're saying is we can barely get him to watch the movies, and you want him to cook Lord of the Rings themed food.
I don't actually care if you watch
adding Hobbit themed food while I watch it. I'm like, all right, let's get through the first one. Let me get to the 2 buildings first.
I actively don't want you to watch the movies anymore. You don't deserve them.
Okay.
Before you watch this 3-hour movie, make a Hobbit themed bread.
Craig has talked to us about how he makes popcorn for like 15 minutes straight. All right. I thought he liked food, watching movies and food.
I don't think
sorry.
Okay.
Make some popcorn. How about that?
Okay. Jeez. You're so upset. I was joking that I don't want culinary homework before I watch these movies, but I can do that if it's very simple, maybe I'll do it.
You can do whatever you want.
That's right.
You can make any combination of foods.
Liz's family's they are giant Lord of the Rings fans. Her brothers watch them every month. So I need to do it.
Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com to help us figure out how we're going to make content out of this. We got to figure this out. Yeah, holidays is the perfect time. It's also the only time all year where anyone has like 12 extra hours to watch the fucking Lord of the Rings or whatever. Okay. I think that's probably all we got. We didn't even get to talk about this raccoon that broke into the liquor store in Virginia.
We'll get to it.
Sunday. Okay. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Austin. Thank you to everyone who emailed us, ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Email us Lord of the Rings ideas. Email us reviews of Ken Burns' documentary and email us also, what was the thing we wanted? Oh, I can't even remember now.
Don't know.
Whatever that was I asked for, email us that too. And rankings are fantasyfootball.theringer.com. We will update those on Sunday. Also, we'll try to account for things we'll know Sunday, like wind and rain and what fucking, whether they're going to get snow and wind in Green Bay. And we'll try to, account for all that too. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lave Seafray. Lave Seafray?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
I believe it's Lobby Seafree.
Seafree.
I told DK to shout him out because I was really upset that he didn't make my Wrapped. I love this guy.
Oh, okay.
There's two songs. Bless the Telephone is like the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. And he's this British dude. He's like in his 80s now. But he's wonderful. And I highly recommend him.
Labrie Seafray. That's okay.
Labrie Seafray. Bless the Telephone.
What's the genre? Like jazz?
No. It's like, I don't want this to sound lame, but it's like I'm trying to think of a cool way to say love songs, but I can't.
Okay.
They're like very like slow, romantic, kind of like Nat King Cole, but that's not right. But
it's hard to describe music sometimes.
Yeah.
DK, you actually, there's a whole Lobby Seafray related menu, and you can make that menu before you listen to the song.
Sounds actually lovely. Thank you for that suggestion. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. The other good one is Crying, Laughing, Loving, Lying is a great song.
Okay.
Right.
I will listen to those.
You should.
Cool. Okay. It's kind of like George Kittle and Myles Garrett. Thanks for those recommendations, Craig. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.